So when consumers consume some amount of food, they start by ingesting the food, right? So first there is ingestion, then after ingestion we digest food, then the digestive glands secrete digestive juices which actually digest the entire food, and the food break down into small pieces. Now the small pieces are assimilated through gut wall into the entire body system. Now the energy that is being used in our body is coming from the digestive systems, right? So the assimilated part is the amount of nutrients that spread out through our body, that got digested and spread out through our body. So not all the content will be assimilated, few of the content will be produced as waste, right? So the remainder of the products will be expelled out as waste. Now the thing is, the amount of energy that we assimilated, let's say first we ingested something, there was major portion, let's say 90% of the things were assimilated, 10% of the things were produced as waste. Now the 90% of the assimilated food will be utilized in respiration because we are doing work, that will be used in respiration. And after respiration, the amount of energy that has been spent, the other thing will be left to storage units to produce something else. Okay, let's say the amount of energy that we got from the assimilated food will be divided or used for respiration. Let's say 80% of that is used in respiration because we are working, but the 20% of left energy is stored and utilized whenever we need to produce something. Let's say there is a cut in our hand, then the amount of energy that is available will be using that to produce the remaining cells, right? As well as when we talk about reproduction, production of ova, production of sperm, and all that of production or productive scenarios will take in energy that is stored, because production doesn't happen continuously, respiration happens continuously. So respiration requires more energy, whereas production requires less amount of energy because it happens occasionally whenever required, or it might also happen periodically over multiple periods, but the respiration is more frequent than that of the production. But anyways, but the basic thing is we ingest something, when the major portion, the major chunk is assimilated by digestion and then spread out through our entire body. The left out portion is excluded as waste. Now the amount of energy or amount of nutrient that is being assimilated, that has been spread out through our body, will be required for respiration as well as production of new organisms or new tissues. Okay, so the thing is, this happens inside a particular body. Now if this body is being eaten by someone else, let's say a predator, okay, then the amount of produced energy and the respiration that happens, so the amount of available energy, the produced energy which is stored, will be utilized by the predator, as well as few amount of respiratory energy as well. So there is an interrelationship between the food that is being ingested and the food that is available for the predator. Okay, so we'll get the ratios if we start with assimilation efficiency, which is the amount of energy that is being assimilated and the amount of energy that was ingested. So we'll get an idea about all of that. You can just see the assimilation energy talks about the ratio between assimilation and ingestion. Then net production efficiency talks about the produced energy as well as the assimilated energy. Okay, so this is higher in this for plants because the amount of produced energy is higher than that of assimilated energy. Then there is gross production efficiency, which talks about production with respect to the ingestion that happens. So the amount of nutrients that a plant took, or the amount of nutrition that an organism took, and how much of production is it working around. So the production talks about how much you are producing. In heterotrophs it is pretty much lower, in case of autotrophs it is pretty much higher, because you can clearly see in heterotrophs the ingestion or the acquirement of food resources more than that of the production, right? So you can clearly identify which plant or which animal is or which organism is more efficient in production or assimilation or ingestion. So these ratios, the efficiency ratios, talks about which animal or which plant or which organism is efficient in production or consumption or assimilation or ingestion. Okay, so this gives you a basic idea about how much of exploitation can happen or how much of ecological structure or ecological energy can be exchanged. So exploitation efficiency talks about how much of ingestion that happens with respect to the production by the prey. Or let's say a plant is being producing this much of amount of energy, and that ingested Let's say it ingested 10 kilocalories, it produced 80 kilocalories. Okay, so exploitation efficiency will be lower, right, in plants, but in case of exploitation efficiency will be higher in predators or heterotrophs. I mean, they are more able to exploit, but plants are more able to produce stuff. Now, the thing is, when we talk about multiple trophic levels, the ecological efficiency talks about how much of energy and production values are working around the prey and predator. So, when it comes to ecological efficiency, it's basically trying to tell us that the difference between the predatory and the prey interaction and the production by the predators and the prey needs to have a equilibrium state. Okay, in the sense, equilibrium doesn't talk about being the same, but the thing is, you should understand that the prey needs to produce more amount of energy which can be sufficed by the predator. If the prey is producing less amount of energy, then there is no point of eating that prey. So that is the major idea of the ecological efficiency. I mean, how efficient is consuming the prey. Okay, so if the ratio between the production of energy that is being done by the prey is less than the production of energy that is I am doing, okay, then what is the point of taking that prey? Like, for example, let's say for a lion, a grasshopper is very small organism because the amount of energy that they'll be getting from that grasshopper is pretty low. The amount of energy that a grasshopper is producing is pretty low than that of the amount of energy produced inside the lion. Okay, so the thing is, when prey and predatory selection is happening, I mean, which prey to eat or which predator to stay away from. So you get an idea by taking into account ecological efficiency. Ecological efficiency talks about the amount of productive value of that prey with respect to the productive value of the predator. So the predator's production value should be lower than that of the prey. If the prey has higher productive value, then only the prey can be eaten by the predator, and the predator will chase that. Okay.